Clerk confirm whether now we have quorum. Let the quorum bell still be rung for a further 5 minutes. Orders of the business. I think clerk, you need to be assisted to fix the your microphone. The Sergeant at Arms, make sure that all the mics are working, including those the clerks at the table. Orders of the business. Next order. 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 Honorable Fred and Honorable Kirwa, your mic should be off. Proceed, Honorable Fred.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to move a motion on legalization and the redeployment of road engineers with water engineer and sub-county and water administrator. Aware that the Section 58 of the County Act 2012 established the County Public Service Board with under Section 59 of the County Government 2012 in conferred with the function of powers over the County Public Service. Further aware that the County Public Service Board is founded by the principle and value referred to under Article 10 of the Constitution, noting that the Public Officer and Ethic and Act 2013 and the Leadership and Integrity Act 2011 venerates integrity of public officers as a primary basis of service delivery in the public service. Further noting that Nandi County Public Service Board as following officers who are cared at ensuring effective service delivery in respective department, roads engineer, water engineer, sub-county, and ward administrator. Considering that the majority of the employees service in the said position are resident of Nandi. Further considering that deployment of officers serving as road engineer, water engineer, sub-county and ward administrators have been localized within their homes areas, with other overstaying in one station for long period of time, thus compromising their integrity and resultant ability of over immediate and of efficient service delivery. Appreciating that the said public officers played vital role in realization of implementation of key government program across all the department. Cognizant that instilling this discipline and professionalism in said that the County Public Service Board, in cognizance with consultation with County Secretary and Chief Officer, ensure that all officers serving in the following position in the County Public Service Board: road engineer, water engineer, sub-county and ward administrator, be delegalized and redeployed to serve in other sub-county country wards. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to ask my friend from Chief Cabinet to second this motion.
Honorable Tateno. I proceed to propose that the motion on delocalization and redeployment. Order, honorable members. I think some of us have mic on. Compromise. You should. Order, honorable members. I proceed to propose that I proceed to propose that the motion on the localization and redeployment of road engineers, water engineers, sub-county and ward administrators be discussed. Honorable Mengech.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Kipkemboi, for bringing this motion. And I wish to support the motion. And considering this matter, Honorable Speaker, we have a serious issue on work ethic. Work ethic, more than where they work. The greatest impediment to service delivery is the work ethic of these officers. For example, Honorable Speaker, if I may address the issue of water engineers, I don't know what you would say, considering that works in our counties, in our sub-counties, works for water, for example, are not going on. I realize that some of the BQs generated by some of these so-called engineers do not meet the basic requirements of bill of quantity. You find most of them work in the offices. So they draw their BQs in the office without visiting sites. Number two, Honorable Speaker, some county administrators who work within their sub-counties, of course, there is no problem harboring political ambitions, but they should not use their time as administrators to convert people who are supposed to receive services from them as political supporters. In fact, one of the sub-county administrators is more of a politician than an administrator. Maybe in future, the basis for appointing sub-county administrators should be spelled out. Anybody who participated in politics in the last 5 years should not be appointed as an administrator. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, for Lesos, of course, I'll be supporting this because the immediate former ward administrator, who apparently was born, you know, it's a crazy thing. She was born in Kaftumo ward, married to Kapsimotwa, but she was transferred, localized to a birthplace, which is crazy. She has already been moved by marriage in the last 10 years to Kapsimoto ward, but now she was forced to go to another place. I would be happy to have her back to Lesos because we worked so well for the time she was there. So I support this motion and would request the chair that this motion, which I know members will support, should be implemented by 1st June. By Monday, this officer should be moved. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Kipkirui Chepony.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise also to support the motion by the Honorable Member for Kapsabet, Honorable Fred Kipkemboi, and I want to thank Honorable Fred for this. I know this we have been fighting for the longest, and I like the spirit by the Honorable Member for Kapsabet. We talked about this in 2018, about the transfer of the ward administrators and sub-county administrators across the, away from their home area. And there was a flimsy reason that we were given as to why that could not have happened. We were told it would be good when they are home, so that if they mess, the people know whose home, where their home is. But is it working? It is not working at all. So, Honorable Speaker, for those of us who served in the first assembly, we would attest to the members here that having the ward administrators and the sub-county administrators walk far away from home is more productive, both to the county government and to the locals that they are serving. I'll tell you, the Honorable Member for Kiptuya, if he was in, he will tell you, the ward administrator who originates from my ward worked so closely with the member for Kiptuya that when the other day, this current administration decided that the ward administrator should go home, the member for Kiptuya told me, can we have a local arrangement? Because he had worked with Paul Simotwo for the last 6 years. And at first it was a stormy affair, but gradually they settled in. Because one thing that we realized, and I would say without fear of contradiction, that I miss the services of one Harry Kipkirui, who comes from Kobujoy. Because, Honorable Speaker, when people come away from their wards, even if today you called a ward administrator, say from Sangalo. Now, whose home is Sangalo? When the boss calls and asks him if he has gone to work, he will say he's at work because he's at home. And there is no one to be able to monitor and supervise because, quote unquote, ni mtoto ya nyumbani. But, Honorable Speaker, I think we are realizing that having people's work from their home area is not effective enough. And so, Honorable Speaker, I support this motion in totality. Additionally, there is a trend that you would observe. If we looked at each other in the eye and spoke, the most unfortunate sub-county, and we pray to God, and we are working very hard, that will come out of marginalization, is Tindred Ward. I know, and the Honorable Member for Kapsabet will attest to this, I know in some of these wards, some of these constituencies for that case, the ward administrators are relatives to the sub-county administrators and are relatives to water officers and are relatives to the engineers, the so-called engineers, the road supervisors. And so, one supervising the other one is hell. It can't work. So, Honorable Speaker, I think this is timely. And this time round, I had indicated, and I have asked it because I had made an amendment to this motion. The last paragraph of the motion, I'm hoping that they would supply, that I had forwarded the amendment. I don't know why it was not transmitted. That, see, Honorable Speaker, we cannot tell the service board to consult with the county secretary and the chief officer. The independent entity in charge of employees in this county is Public Service Board. So that now we hold them responsible. So, Honorable Speaker, and the Honorable Member for Kapsabet knows very well. I know before we had a service board that was moribund. But seemingly, until we try them, the current service board, we need to give them a test. So we leave this issue of this transfer exclusively to the service board. Why would you want to consult the CEO? That issue of consultation, if we talk about consultation, we will not be able to move. It will drag. But I'm sure, Honorable Speaker, like the member for Nandi, for Lesosa said, let these changes be effected by first. It is so easy when it is only allowed or customized to only one office. So, Honorable Members, I'll be seeking, Honorable Speaker, that we amend to delete the part of consulting the county secretary and the CO, so that we leave this exclusively to the Public Service Board. And anyway, that is their job. So, Honorable Speaker, we would want to tell this to the government. And the executive should listen. As we look at the current trend in the country, it is midterm. We are at the center of midterm. Some serious changes and adjustments must happen for the future to happen. I know this, the executive would have wanted, Honorable Speaker, it should not also be lost to us. The member for Lesos mentioned bypassing. It is not also lost to us that based on the work and service delivery to your people is what determines your fate in 2022 and beyond. And so, Honorable Speaker, if members are in agreement, all of us have experienced that these officers cannot deliver at home. Don't forget, these officers are on permanent and pension. There is only one person who's on contract. It is you. So, for us to get service to our people, I know of the relationship between the sub-county administrator in my ward or in our sub-county and some of the contractors who have now failed us. Instead of them going to supervise the work, they cannot be able to ask the contractor, or even we have asked them to write demand letters to the contractors. They cannot. The other day, Honorable Speaker, I have a dip in my ward called Soyet, which was procured for the last 3-4 years. It has not been completed. 2 weeks ago, we went to with governor, and governor was shocked when the public said that there is a project that has stalled. When the sub-county administrator was asked, has he ever visited there? Governor was shocked that he has never been there. So, Honorable Speaker, if we have to get our people get services, these guys have to work outside from home. And anyway, every public servant signed in their contract that they will work anywhere in the county. So that anywhere now seemingly cannot be home. So, Honorable Speaker, I do support this motion. And I would be moving a motion to amend the last part. It does not change the context of the motion, Honorable Speaker, so that we only align it to be easy to implement. So, Honorable Speaker, if guided by you, if I can move the amendment.
Order, Honorable Kipkurui, I think as you clearly indicated that you had given that notice, I have not been briefed to that effect, and definitely you need to also be clear on what you want the motion to look like, and if the order of the motion before us can also be in agreement. You have indicated that when it comes to matters human resource, it is a preserve of the service board. You should be clear on who is mandated to do the redeployment, so that we don't alter the motion to go out of the context. So if you can clearly give that brief, the better. Honorable Terry Mayo, as we make consultation in as far as the amendment is concerned.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also stand to support this motion by Honorable Frederick Kipkemboi that the said officers be redeployed and delocalized, Honorable Speaker. Apart from that, I think the supervisors should also have clear work ethics. I remember recently we were expecting a road machinery to come and assist us do a road. By 12 midday, calling the engineer and the supervisor, they had not even come to start working by midday. So you wonder, their work ethics, the time they are supposed to start and the time they are supposed to end. Because the said machine came at around 5:30, going to 6. And it was just stagnant from morning up to that time. So honestly, there's a lot of laxity in these road engineers, and by extension, the water engineers. Honorable Speaker, it will also be unfair that they work in their wards. It's compromising the work of the honorable elected members from those wards, considering the fact that those are potential fathers. They'll be trying to keep the fort at the same time do the work. So it's actually compromising everything. So I support that they are delocalized so that supervision can be handy and very fair. Thank you, I support.
Honorable Magdalene.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support the move of this motion on the localization and redeployment. I thank the member of Kapsabet Ward for bringing this motion. As far as I'm concerned, I really wish it had even happened earlier. There is a lot of mess. and especially in water and roads. And I feel as much as we want to delocalize these people, these officers, and or deploy, we also have to look into their competence. Because I'm wondering this scenario, whereby a whole engineer puts in a bill of BQ. The road, the project is done, whereby the pipes are put in place, there is no protection of spring, there is no storage, and the project is stamped complete. And it's an officer who is really, who did the BQ, I don't know if he's competent, even if I'm a layman or I'm not on those terms of engineering. But I wonder, how can you put pipes where there is no water, where there is no storage? That's why I'm looking into their competence. And I also wish that, as much as some of these officers, the engineers on roads and water, don't come from our areas, most of them. But we should also look into their because we are in Nandi County as a whole, and we would wish they, as much as they are redeployed, we look into their competence, and because as far as wherever they'll go, they'll still make the same mistakes, and we are serving the people of Nandi all together. And you find some officers are compromised. I'm talking on and especially the roads officers. I don't know if they know their ethics of work or what, because there are sometimes you find them, they even don't, when you call them, they can't give you a tangible answer on what you're asking. And sometimes even they are compromised. You'll say, even on the ground, with the community. And I feel there's a lot of work to be done on these roads engineers and water engineers. I stand to support this motion and think we should work as fast as possible so that we can have good service delivery, and look into their competence. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ngatich.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to hear my views concerning the same. Honorable Speaker, as I would like to thank Honorable Fred, member of Kapsabet Ward. I still wonder whether actually transferring somebody will improve their competence. As the way the member for Lesotho said, some of them make their BQs when they are in their offices. I was just imagining, if one is transferred, will that make him or her to go and do their PQs after visiting the sites? Honorable Speaker, I think at times it is wrong to condemn wholesome, because I want to believe there are two or so which they do their work perfectly. Is there no way where we can single out and know who are these who are not performing, and what is the reason of not performing? I was imagining, do these people know their roles? Were they inducted? Because at times you only see a sub-county officer when the governor is visiting the ward. Otherwise, for all this time, you cannot see them in the wards, Honorable Speaker. So I think there is much to be done rather than this delocalization. If there is another better way of even maybe weeding out from the department so that we can get competent people, as I have heard from one honorable member saying that these are relatives. I just wonder how come that such a thing can happen